We inhabit a world scarred deeply, where sin has imprinted its legacy in every aspect of creation. From the instant humanity opted to drift away from God in the Garden of Eden, an unfixable rupture was woven into existence. This division not only erected a barrier between light and shadow, but also sowed the roots of anguish, inequity, and torment that persist to this era. The repercussions of this estrangement are evident everywhere: fractured households, deeds of savagery, blatant injustices, and the quiet emptiness nesting in countless souls. Yet, the issue isn't solely out there. Frequently, it resides within us, in the musings we strive to conceal, the sentiments we cannot rein in, and the unseen inner skirmishes. Wrath, jealousy, avarice, arrogance, and resentment serve as tiny fissures through which the adversary infiltrates our lives. He doesn't always arrive with flames and tempests. Often, he maneuvers discreetly, nurturing uncertainties, disseminating despondency, and laying snares that appear innocuous at first sight. He aims to persuade us that we're isolated, powerless to evolve, and that the load we shoulder is too immense to endure. Yet here lies the verity that must be engraved upon our spirits: you are not solitary. Regardless of how bleak the gorge you traverse, there exists a radiance that gleams even amidst the densest gloom. That luminescence bears a name: Jesus Christ. He entered the world not to chastise but to redeem, ushering hope where despair once ruled and vitality where demise prevailed. Frequently, we gaze around and behold a globe brimming with trials, conflicts, inequities, solitude, but the reality is, these predicaments aren't merely out there. Many of our gravest confrontations occur internally. Envisage a noiseless combat where pessimistic notions attempt to seize dominion over your psyche. A minor grudge can burgeon into acrimony. An ostensibly benign skepticism can morph into immobilizing dread. And that craving that appears harmless? It can metamorphose into a snare that estranges us from what genuinely counts. The foe comprehends our frailties intimately. He discerns how to wield our imperfections against us. He doesn't manifest with clamor or hurricanes, he labors in obscurity, sowing insidious falsehoods. He informs us that we're deserted, that no one grasps our agony. He persuades us that we're too feeble to alter, that our blunders are too monumental to be absolved. But here lies the verity: you needn't wage this warfare unaccompanied. Each enticement, each adverse cogitation, each oppressive sentiment, none possesses the authority to delineate you. God perceives your tribulations, even when articulating them eludes you. He discerns your taciturn tears, your unvoiced queries, and the junctures when you feel you can endure no longer. And he dispatched someone to accompany you on this odyssey, Jesus. He didn't arrive to adjudicate, but to assist you in emerging from the murk. He has already triumphed in the contests you're still grappling with. When the adversary endeavors to assail you with fabrications, recollect your identity in Christ. You're not a defenseless casualty. You're a progeny of God, summoned to dwell in the brilliance. Do not dread acknowledging your tribulations. Recognize them, relinquish them to God, and confide that He will fortify you anew. Amidst all the skirmishes, one verity remains immutable: God is perpetually beside you. He's not a detached spectator but an entity who ambles with you, even amid the sternest epochs. When existence feels insufferable, He murmurs, "I am here." Irrespective of how somber the locale you occupy, His presence imparts illumination, sanctuary, and repose. Visualize confronting a ferocious tempest, where the gale strives to whisk you away and claps of thunder resound around you. Frightening, correct? But now envisage discovering a robust refuge amidst that maelstrom, shielded by steadfast ramparts. That constitutes God's vow to you. He proffers not merely safeguarding but also counsel. He discerns the route you necessitate traversing and pledges to pilot each stride, even when visibility falters. There exists prodigious potency in entrusting Him. When we yield our apprehensions, dubieties, and infirmities to God, something remarkable transpires. He transmutes our affliction into significance. He doesn't anticipate you to possess all responses or to be flawless. He simply desires you to confide in Him, even amidst the most perplexing scenarios. It resembles clasping someone's palm whilst wading across a tumultuous stream. You may not discern the bedrock, but you cognize you're secure because that grasp won't release yours. God also assures to accompany you in every epoch, significant or trivial. He attends to you when you depart domicile at dawn, when you encounter hurdles at labor or academia, and even whilst you slumber. He oversees your arrivals and departures, akin to a herdsman tending his flock. You're perpetually accompanied because He has already surmounted everything endeavoring to topple you. Merely confide in Him and proceed onward, aware that He governs. There's something formidable about admitting we're not impervious. Often, we endeavor to mask our defects as if they're disgraceful. But the veracity is, our vulnerabilities are precisely where God exhibits His vigor. He doesn't anticipate us to be impeccable, He merely desires us to confide in Him, even when we feel fragmented. Imagine an individual striving to haul a colossal encumbrance unaided. The more they strive, the more enervated they grow, until their stamina exhausts. Now envisage that identical individual transferring the onus to someone endowed with robust, willing limbs. That epitomizes what God executes for us. He doesn't scrutinize the magnitude of the quandary or how profoundly you've erred. He perceives your readiness to rely on Him and responds with compassion. Each misstep, each tumble, each instant you presumed there was no exit, it can all be transfigured. God doesn't merely obliterate the yaw, He utilizes those imprints to mold something nascent within you. It's analogous to a ceramist seizing flawed clay and reshaping it into something exquisite and functional. He's indifferent to who you were but intrigued by who you can metamorphose into. And here lies a liberating verity: you needn't metamorphose solitarily. When you capitulate your existence to Him, He commences laboring within you. Petite gestures, such as opting for absolution over rancor or pursuing tranquility amidst discord, commence mirroring His presence. Every stride in the correct trajectory constitutes a conquest, even if it appears trifling. Recall, you needn't possess everything under dominion. Simply undertake the subsequent stride, confiding that God has already paved the avenue. He doesn't merely rehabilitate, He galvanizes, transfigures, and rejuvenates. And on this pilgrimage, He'll perpetually remain proximate. We've culminated this scrutiny, yet the verity is, it never genuinely concludes. The summons to subsist under God's effulgence isn't solely for an ephemeral instant, it's a quotidian election, a ceaseless progression towards the loftier objective He harbors for us. Each diurnal cycle furnishes novel opportunities to reaffirm our reliance on Him, solicit His guidance, and permit His affection to transmute who we are. Halt for a juncture and ruminate. What are you bearing today? Perhaps it's a load that feels insupportable or qualms that appear insoluble. Recall, these burdens needn't be yours singularly. When you consign everything to God, you ascertain that He not only alleviates your spirit but also capacitates you to confront what formerly appeared unsurmountable. He doesn't vow a life devoid of trials, but guarantees His perpetual presence amidst them. Now, effectuate a determination, resolve to tread with valor, even if the pathway appears nebulous. Resolve to quest for verity, even when voices environing you endeavor to bewilder. Resolve to subsist in a mode that directs towards something loftier than this transient orb. That resolution initiates with diminutive actions, a benevolent deed, a phrase of encouragement, a moment of hush consecrated to supplication. I'll conclude with a query that resonates in the soul: what will your subsequent determination be? It might constitute the inception of an even grander transmutation. Irrespective of your current locus, there's perpetually scope to advance. God has already primed the terrain, illuminated the itinerary, and proffered his manus. All that persists is for you to undertake the subsequent stride. May you depart hence inspired, revitalized, and equipped to act. And recall, the effulgence emanating within you possesses the prowess to dissipate any obscurity. Utilize it to irradiate the cosmos encircling you.